You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Center, this is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share facts.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is We'll do it live! Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication. It's over 9,000!
My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there. How about a roll? Don't face me, bro! It's a trap! I'm a firing believer! Time to Hey, Charlie, wake up! Oh, God, oh, man!
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd to Know Basis Show, airing on Phoenix 92.5 FM and all those other wonderful places on the internet. My name's Cian, and joining me this week is...
It's Kev. How's it going?
Very well. I can see you're shuffling cards sinisterly for the benefit of people listening.
Not only cards. To lead with selfless, shameless self-promotion up top, it is our Nerd to Know business cards that you can get if you come up to any of us at, say, a public event or a convention, or if you see me on the street.
Yeah, if you ask him for directions, he'll just throw them at you.
It's a card with a QR code. And
disappears like a puff of smoke.
Yeah, no, I carry smoke bombs and cards on me at all times. They call me the Wizard.
Oh my goodness. Well then, also Dara may also in wizarding fashion drop in at some point. If you say
drop a smoke bomb and just appear. Yeah. Throw a card.
The British Museum 3 times, he'll appear. Not just in this show, anywhere. But yes, we have some films and TV shows and casting things, right? So we will jump straight into it with you, Kev. So Kev, I believe you saw a few films this week, a sort of Japanese anime type one and a more mainstream one. Would you like to take us through both of them, please?
Yes. Well, I would like. So here's a hot exclusive Game Awards world premiere. I got the chance to go to the advanced preview screening of the new anime movie Suzume.
Now how did you get this? How did this opportunity come about?
It was a public event.
Oh, okay.
It was an advanced screening. About 2.5 weeks before the wide release in the Lighthouse.
Okay, they didn't reach out to you and go.
No, I wish I had that much clout. But no, it was done in the Lighthouse out in Smithfield, which is always a great cinema to go to. Like in this show's habit of ranking cinemas, Lighthouse, solid A.
And for the more normies in the audience like me, what is Suzume?
Well, that's I wanted to kind of get into. It's the newest movie by Makoto Shinkai, who, if you know anything about anime in the recent years, you'll know Makoto Shinkai. He's the director of Your Name and Weathering with You, along with a whole back.
Oh yeah, he's a good make you cry director. Yes,
yeah.
Totally.
Oh, he's got a brand, and it's this supernatural teen romance,
right?
And like it is that it's different takes on that throughout, but that's the running theme, and he will make one of these every 2 years, and I will go see every single one of them. But Suzume, where Your Name was a breakthrough and definitely like just hugged him into the stratosphere, Suzume definitely feels like him stretching his creative muscles.
I do apologize there. We ran into some connection issues. Would you mind just summing up the last 20 seconds again, please, just in case it didn't make it into the recording?
Sure. Where Your Name kind of like broke him into the stratosphere and made him a household name as far as an anime director or even a director, like Your Name really breached like boundaries. That was a public success.
Oh yeah, I heard of it. Like, you know.
Yeah. This, I think, is finally him like taking that and really stretching his creative muscles with it.
Okay.
I'm trying to kind of dance around because obviously this movie technically is not out yet, even when this episode is released.
Well,
So
how much?
I don't want to say too
about
much.
it,
So
but
the premise is very similar to his back catalog in that I mentioned it's very supernatural based, romance focused.
right.
And I'm about to come out with the most anime plot synopsis because
I'm really looking forward to it.
so we have Suzume Suzume, who's our main character. Teenage girl lives in a lovely rural harbor fishing village. When she comes across a mysterious man who is so beautiful that she actually has to stop.
like cars just crash off the road.
Yeah.
Like,
and eventually we find out that this man has a destiny to basically find these doors in abandoned places that lead to another supernatural world and to make sure they're closed.
okay.
As a plot has to happen, Suzume ends up opening one, conflict arises, and in this conflict, maybe the boy turns into a moving chair.
What?
And then it's a rollicking road trip across Japan. But the
Does
movie,
he
like,
stay a chair?
for most of the movie, yeah.
Okay.
But the
Now,
movie,
is
like,
this just like a chair with a mouth, like beauty?
no,
or
it is
just
a
like
small-
a normal chair.
just a small yellow chair with 3 legs.
Doesn't even have wheels.
Doesn't
Oh.
even have wheels. No, and that's like this movie. There's so many different facets to this movie. One I think that's particular to point out is just as much as it will make you cry. It's a Makoto Shinkai film. This movie is one of the funniest anime movies I've seen in so long.
See, I'm glad you said that because when I heard about a romance with a chair, like I was wondering, like, because I'm sure he could make this work, but I was wondering about tone. You know?
No, it balances the tone very well.
Okay.
Like, again, what the way they animate this chair running down a road is just hysterical. There's a sequence in the latter third of it with like, because they pick up cast of characters across the movie.
Right.
And there's this one guy with this really fancy looking but kind of beat up convertible car. And that
Right.
convertible is just the groundwork to so many jokes. Each of which had me crippled. But on top of that, like the layers in this thing, because the movie also explores so many kind of deep-seated Japanese concepts of the idea of the ideas of like abandoned places in Japan.
Right.
Like something not specific to Japan, but something kind of notable about it is because of the rapidness of the economic boom in the 80s and the decline of that. Things like theme parks, cities, apartment blocks came up overnight, stuck around for a decade, and then were abandoned just as quickly.
Well, see, I'm glad you said that because I've noticed in like even in the Ghibli films and that kind of stuff, there's loads of like Japanese animated films which feature like these empty, abandoned places taking on some sort of magical quality or something like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It really kind of it talks a lot about that, but it also deals in some of the biggest tragedies in Japan's history. Like this is a movie that effectively takes place like in the real world.
Okay.
Events like, I think it's Fukushima was the nuclear reactor detonation.
Right.
But yeah, like a Chernobyl, like a nuclear detonation that happened to Japan some decades ago, or the 2011 tsunami that devastated coastal cities, I think in North Japan. These are all events that happened in this movie that tie into its greater themes, and the movie talks about that. And it's just, it's all of these things just layering onto each other, but never feeling out of place.
Okay.
It is without a doubt. Like, if you liked Your Name, it's a must.
Right.
I would recommend this movie to most anyone.
Well, that was going to be my question because you're approaching this as someone who's looking at the back catalog. Like, if you were some random person off the street who hadn't seen like a Japanese anime thing in a while, do you think this would be accessible? Like,
oh, I think so. I think Shinkai has hit on. I don't want this. Okay, I don't want this to come off as, because a lot of people just started comparing Makoto Shinkai to Hayao Miyazaki because they're notable Japanese directors, but they both hit on this way of filmmaking that's so inherent, that is inherently Japanese and very tied into that culture, while making it still very accessible to Western and outside audiences.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. You don't want to compare,
as far as as far as filmmakers, they are nothing alike. But it's that sort of link through. I could recommend this to anyone in the same way that I could recommend like Spirited Away to anyone. And as I said, it's coming out. It isn't released yet, but it's coming out on the 14th of April for a pretty wide release, I think, in a lot of cinemas. I'm sure if you're one of the 4 people that sees Dara in an anime theater, you'll see him in this one. But yeah, Suzume, like, to be frank, Suzume, Your Name, and his movie he made between these two, Weathering with You, all get blanket recommendations from me.
Right. So this is going to wash the taste of the Demon Slayer newer film out of your mouth, like. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, this has revitalized my my belief in that cinema is good, actually.
Well, that's high praise in and of itself. Then that's awesome.
No, it's great. Like I said, I've been to a lot of movies lately, and I'm going to go to more. This one felt special. Also helped by the fact that it was a sold out screening, right, where everyone has been. I think everyone was on the same page. You know, right. No teens were taking selfies themselves, we'll say.
Well, this is going to be my last question about that then, which is like, because, you know, everything seems to end up on a streaming service in 2 weeks nowadays. Do you think there's merit to seeing this in a theater as opposed to at home?
Definitely. Right. Shinkai is at the forefront of a melding of 2D and 3D animation, and like where there were scenes in Your Name that were jaw-dropping in 3D. There are certain sequences. He's really upped the scale in this one.
Right. I mean, how often are you going to get a chance to see a chair in 3D? Like,
exactly. But no, the scale, things get pretty big in this movie, and the animation is astonishing. I recommend it. Oh, and actually, just to tie it all together, the soundtrack is also brilliant.
Oh, yeah?
He started working with a band called Rad Whips, which is one of the reasons Your Name shot up in popularity.
Right.
It's one of these things. If you'll notice, Your Name has a pretty kind of like album type soundtrack where they're basically, they sound like just songs, like actual radio
like a playlist
songs.
Type thing. Yeah.
The beauty of Your Name is that he storyboarded a lot of that to the music.
Oh, okay.
I think he got the soundtrack written first from the band.
Wow, you never hear of that happening.
I think so. I'm nearly certain I've heard that.
I mean, I trust you to know that. Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite albums I've heard. Like that's in a category of album where I hear it and I immediately just start weeping just on the spot. So
just while you're at work with a customer or something.
Oh yeah, full on. Oh yeah, absolutely. So he's been working with them for the past couple of movies, and where I think Weathering with You felt, the soundtrack for Weathering with You just felt like a copy paste of what he did with Your Name. This time it's much less rock tracks and much more kind of instrumental. I think he got a composer in to work with Rad Whips.
Right.
To create something a bit more kind of crossover. And there's a lot of choral work on this that is just, like, as much as seeing the animation on a big screen, hearing that soundtrack on like Dolby speakers, it's beautiful. It's great. It's great. All
right, I'm excited now. Just to compare, though, you also saw Dungeons and Dragons this week, which I've been kind of cautiously excited about. What did you think of it?
Okay, to take a step back from the well of praise I was in.
Step back from the well of praise.
I did like Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. It's good. It is actually very good.
You're pulling a face. I just want to say
it's more the fact that I've just come out of again, really, really just like basking in the glory of something.
I get it. It's like you've just watched like Citizen Kane and now you're asked to review Fast and Furious 9 or something like that. You're like, it was good.
Come on, Kian. No, not Citizen Kane. It's like I just watched Paddington 2. No, Dungeons and Dragons is very, very good. Right. It's good in the way of it's a romp.
Right.
And like, you know what? It feels like, I'm surprised it came out in April because this feels like a summer blockbuster movie.
Yeah, that was quite peculiar too. I didn't know it was coming out this too until I saw the ads around Dublin Comic Con. Like, you know. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they felt like the summer was going to be too packed, so they kind of hucked it out here.
Yeah.
Or they fast tracked it to try and get some grace back from. Okay, if this is a bit of a deep dive, did you hear about the OGL license?
No, this is news to me.
Brief summary. Dungeons and Dragons, Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, who are the company that owns the Dungeons and Dragons IP.
Right, okay.
They got into a bit of a kerfuffle there about a month or two ago because they basically tried to peel back some of the open source nature of Dungeons and Dragons and start charging content creators that were streaming it.
Oh no!
Obviously, they caught a lot of flack for that. They stepped back on that pretty immediately, and even kind of issued some stuff where they basically the broad strokes of it is that before this, a lot of the basic groundwork rules of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition were kind of open source.
Right.
They've effectively made like the entire player handbook open source now as kind of a response. Like, hey, we messed up.
So they kind of overcorrected, like.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that they might have tried to push this movie out a little bit faster
to get some positive, or even just a distraction. Yeah.
Just to smoke screen a bit and just be like, hey, guys, look at this really fun movie we made.
Okay.
And in that way, it worked because, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, because I remember my first experience with anything Dungeons and Dragons was the film that came out in the 90s with like Jeremy Irons and like confused normal American teenagers who haven't played Dungeons and Dragons, and like so that was like the low bar for me. And obviously like having the likes of Chris Pine and the star of Paddington 2 involved with this is more of a vote of confidence. But like, how did you find this one? Like,
very good. Would you believe I've never actually seen the was it 80s 90s movie? I've never
90s,
seen the I've never seen the Jeremy Irons one.
It's bad as its reputation suggests, but it has little to do with Dungeons and Dragons. In fact, it has little to do with its own title, because I believe there is not a dungeon and there might not be a dragon until the end. It is basically just one of those many, many 80s and 90s movies where normal kids with skateboards get thrown into a wizarding world, of which there are several that spring to mind, one of which has like even Heath Ledger in it. And like the kid is like fighting off knights by opening his CD player and a laser fires out like it's Buzz Lightyear's arm thing. Like it's so many of those. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Tell me about this one.
I don't know why, but you have to remind me, what was the movie with Macaulay Culkin where he ends up going to those book worlds?
And Page Master.
Page Master.
At least Page Master was earnest. I'm talking like the cheaply made. Like, I mean, they were even coming out as late as like, do you remember The Black Knight, where some guy is thrown back in time? That was a real 90s trope. Like,
ooh, it's that or Tom Hanks's first ever movie, which was a Christian movie telling you about the evils of playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I've seen that. Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters. What a time to be alive.
Top-notch acting when he's like, yes, for anyone who doesn't know, like it's a story about 4 kids who start playing Mazes and Monsters, and Tom Hanks gets so into it that he becomes a murderer and they have to catch him, and he ends up in like one of those like kind of institutions where he still believes he's in the game, because that was obviously Mazes and Monsters, Dungeons and Dragons are the most terrifying things happening in the 80s, and we need not investigate that any further.
But yeah, no, in comparison to Mazes and Monsters, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves is good. It is good. It does actually earnestly feel like it is very D&D.
Right.
In its world and tone and setting, like it's set in the D&D universe of the Forgotten Realms. And it name drops places like Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter. So like it's all very in that universe. But more than anything, it feels like playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, that's because I mean, you're the kind of biggest D&D player, like I know in terms of knowing the lore and that kind of stuff. And when I saw the main character was a bard, I immediately thought of you because that's a good sign. They kind of know they've done their homework, you know.
My heart, and it's a very good bard because he's like Chris Pine. Chris Pine is kind of the perfect actor for that, where it's a lot of like witty, smarmy one-liners.
Yeah.
But it's not it doesn't come off as the kind of the Marvel quip a second.
Yeah,
it's more just kind of playful
it's not
banter.
Like kind of factory made, like, you know.
Yeah, and on top of that, having played a bard for 2 years, as much as my character would quip a lot, he got punched down on a lot, and that's kind of the vibe. Yes. But it's good, and it's the interparty dynamics of that because it's in terms of kind of archetyping. It's Chris Pine plays the bard. Michelle Rodriguez is playing the barbarian.
Right.
Justice Smith is playing. I believe it's a sorcerer.
Okay.
Distinct from wizard, you see. And I cannot remember the name of the fourth actress who plays the druid. I don't know her off the top of my head. But the kind of the interparty dynamics there are great. And again, it feels very much like 4 people sitting down. And because the way the film is structured, it's a heist movie. That's the kind of the basic conceit of it. So it's very much, it feels like somebody keeps putting problems in their way and they have to just think of creative solutions to get out of it. And it's like, if you step, like, as somebody that plays D&D, I can step back and I can see people behind, like, it's almost as if I can see people making these decisions and making these characters that way.
Right.
There is one particular moment where I could see a player sitting behind one of the characters saying, I interrupt the villain's monologue to throw a potato in his face.
Well, this is what I was going to ask about. Is this like a committed in-universe story? Or is there, like, for example, like Jumanji, is there like a metatextual?
No, it's in-universe. It is all...
Like, I am genuinely surprised to hear that. Okay.
I get the feeling. They haven't made any announcements, but I really suspect that they are going to franchise the life out of this thing.
Right.
Like,
okay.
It feels like they are laying the groundwork to make a D&D universe, as it were. So, like, that's what I said. They're establishing the Forgotten Realms. They're establishing places like Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate. They're establishing places like the Underdark. I get the feeling that this is kind of laying the groundwork for other stories, which could be good. So long as they really make sure to keep creative about it. Because there is a lot, like, there is hundreds of novels about like in the Dungeons & Dragons Forgotten Realms universe that are really creative. So long as they don't phone it in, I will watch more.
And do you mind me asking, who does Hugh Grant play?
Hugh Grant plays he's effectively the villain.
Ooh,
and it's very, like, I think somebody pointed out, the film has we mentioned it earlier, the film has a very similar plot structure to Paddington 2. And that's all I really say on the matter. But yeah, Hugh Grant is a joy. Michelle Rodriguez and Chris Pine's, like, back and forth is perfect. It's brilliant.
Right.
And the movie's just a fun romp. Oh, and the one thing that actually caught me off guard, this movie has a tremendous amount of practical effects. Really? Yeah, I didn't realize. And I'm a sucker for them. Like, because there is obviously a lot of kind of creative races in D&D.
Right.
So the likes of Dragonborns and Aarakocras, which are bird people, and Tabaxi, which are cat people. And a lot of them that are kind of like visually on screen are people in costumes.
Okay, so not a lot of noticeable, like, kind of green screeny type stuff.
Oh, there's their fair share of it for effect stuff. But, like, if something is interacting directly with the characters, it has a physicality to it. I want they do a good job at kind of masking where a lot of it you'll notice that it's practical, but there was a few times where I couldn't actually tell. I think
that's what you're looking for.
There's one sequence where like a bunch of like tentacles wrap one of the characters up, and I was looking at it, I was like, is he actually like, is that on him? What's huh. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing you haven't seen before. But if you're looking for just a fun action romp movie, yeah, I genuinely would recommend it.
Okay, well, to go back to kind of the same question as earlier, like obviously you're immersed in like all the D&D stuff, but would someone unfamiliar with it kind of find something to enjoy? Like,
oh, I'd say so. Again, the like as much as it throws out things like the Underdark and is just kind of hooking elvish spells left and right. No, like as I said, the core conceit of this movie is a heist. So that's like, it's, if you like something like Ocean's 11, it's Ocean's 11 with much more silly words.
Okay, all right.
Now, speaking of silly words, Cian, I believe we have some Doctor Who news.
Yes, and surprisingly, off the air, you had to break this news to me. So, although the anniversary special is still months away, we have been getting leaks and updates about people involved and all that kind of stuff. So, would you like to take the lead on that?
Sure, absolutely. As we mentioned, we've talked about it, about how Russell T Davies is returning, as returning a showrunner, and it really looks like they're kind of clean slating Doctor Who.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're like, you can jump back in now without having watched any of what's coming before. So, but from the kind of the reveals that we've been getting, obviously we knew about Ncuti Gatwa becoming the Doctor.
Yes.
They've since announced that British comedian Susie Kemper is going to be. I think they named her character, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did they? Okay. See, I'm kind of trying to stay out of that whole discourse. Okay.
Fair enough. I think they gave her a name. I just don't know what it is. Right. It's a reference. I believe she's playing like a villainous role.
Right.
But they've just announced the other day as well now that famed drag queen Jinx Monsoon is joining the cast. They haven't given any specific details on that. I remember that. But now with the addition of Jinx, it's really coloring a picture here in Russell T Davies, who we know is a out gay man.
I mean, he wrote Queer as Folk.
Yeah,
it's an open secret. Yes.
Yeah, but it's like he is, now that he's back in the kind of the big seat, he is jamming Doctor Who with queer actors. And I'm delighted. I think this is great, but I am just kind of surprised the BBC are letting him.
I don't think they have a choice. I mean, I know from behind the scenes things that actually, even though it is the BBC, it's being outsourced to his personal company.
Oh, really?
I think it is actually called Bad Wolf Productions, which is a Doctor Who reference.
Right.
And Disney are throwing money at it, but I don't think they get like creative input.
I think they're just a licensing for
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm delighted to hear this news. I have theories on who these characters will be playing, but to be honest, until we see a trailer or anything, it's kind of a waste of time. I'm very impressed with what little bits and pieces we have so far, though. Like they did release a trailer on Christmas Day, and like we know Neil Patrick Harris is going to be the first big villain.
I forgot. I fully forgot. Hey, colors pictured more. Another gay man. Yeah, like that's.
No, completely. And and all I know is that from what evidence we've seen of David Tennant's big first episode, it's going to be an adaptation of one of the comics from like the 70s featuring a villain called Beep the Meep, who is a little hamster with big eyes. So there's
nothing more villainous.
So it's
this is what has roused you from your slumber.
They're reining him in. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, Kev. This is what brought me out of onto the show this week.
The hamster.
The hamster.
Beep the meep.
Beep the meat.
And it's so funny because like I like the previous era, but like the Jodie Whittaker's outgoing thing was stacked with like every single companion under the sun, and the Cybermen and the Daleks and the Master. And now they're bringing back the franchise with a hamster called Beep the Meep. It's just
we got to go back to our roots. We got.
I mean, like, imagine if Star Wars like was about to reboot, and in their way out, they did Darth Vader and Stormtroopers and all that kind of stuff, and then they decided to reboot it with just Jar Jar and nothing else. Like that's the vibe I get off this.
They reboot with Glub shit out.
Welcome, by the way, Dara. Sorry, you came in at like the worst moment.
Ahoy, I think I came in at the best moment. Ahoy, everybody.
Oh my goodness. But yes, that's the big doctor. And since we're talking casting anyway, we won't dwell on the Mandalorian too much because I know that it'll eat the episode. But I just want to say we're recording on a Wednesday. And I've just watched the newest episode. And by the way, the third season is really, really good. They're doing a good balance of like having an arc and having individual episodes and all that. But today's episode featured 3 big names that jumped out at me, which was Christopher Lloyd, Jack Black, and Lizzo.
Oh God, I hate all of that.
Yeah, I knew you would.
I hate.
But it's
all
delightful.
No, what's a Lizzo?
What's a Lizzo?
Yeah,
I'm going to pass the book to Kev on this one.
She's the goddamn queen, is what she is.
No, this isn't a bit. Like,
no, she's a pop star. She's
okay. That's why I don't know who it is.
Time.
Why are you bringing pop stars? I don't know pop stars. I don't know modern music.
Hey, Dara, you should actually check out Lizzo. She rules. She's
awesome.
Oh no, it's not.
It's a lot of 70s.
Is it your one with the flu? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that now.
You're
Can't be
awesome,
doing
man.
that. Sorry, can't do it. Now there's only one queen in pop. Her name is Taylor Swift, and that is it.
Oh,
That's a very different end of the
No,
pop spectrum.
Taylor Swift is the absolute queen. So
Can she play the flute?
Probably, yeah, but she doesn't because she has respect for herself. Oh, anyway.
You've just about to get 100 angry tweets from flautists across the world.
I would love to know if we have flautists as listeners. I would love to know.
My sister plays the flute.
Really? Is that a bit or is that true?
No, it's true.
Oh, now I feel bad. Now I feel bad.
Ron Burgundy plays the flute.
Yeah, I know, but that's as an ironic joke. It's not like a serious thing. It's like, I don't know. It's like
ironic to him.
It's like people who collect stamps. You know, like unironic people collect stamps.
We're not getting into like nerdy gatekeeping here, are we?
No. I'm just saying.
Hold on, no. I'd like to dig a little deeper. Learning the flute is a pretty involved process. I don't think you do that ironically.
No, okay, you've never seen The Other Guys, where he learns to dance ironically and learns to play the cello to make fun of the guy up the road.
That's in the movie.
Yeah, that's in the movie. Yeah, it's in the movie. Yeah. It's part of the whole lore of the movie. The Other Guys is great, by the way. No, I mean, I respect anybody who plays any musical instrument, of course, but no, the flute is a bit.
Well, she doesn't play the flute in The Mandalorian, if that's what you're worried about.
Oh God, okay, right, that's not so bad. I thought this was going to be like when that other flute was on in Game of Thrones. What's his name?
Oh, Ed Sheeran.
That's the one, and he started singing.
No, it's super cute. It's basically they need to recruit some Mandalorians, and so they go to a planet of.
Is she a Mandalorian?
No, it's
okay.
Basically. I'm not going to give away the plot of the series, but like they're recruiting Mandalorians from every which place, and they land on a very Star Trek-y place.
Oh, fun!
Everyone's always having parties, and Jack Black and Lizzo are like,
the
planet and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm 100% going to avoid that episode because Lizzo, I genuinely don't know that much about, but I hate Jack Black.
Oh, what's wrong?
Hate him because okay. So moving away from Lizzo because I can't really speak to her. However, Jack Black, right? He was
Tell me about the time he bothered you on Twitter.
No. No, he was in a movie called High Fidelity, right?
Right.
Wonderful movie, right? Genuinely, if you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. It's in a record store. Jack Black's doing his whole, hey, I'm a rock star, that kind of, and it was great. And then he played that character for 25 years. And I am
He's about to be Bowser.
I am sick of it. I won't be watching it either. I am sick of Jack Black. And I liked Tenacious D. I'm just like, you know the best movie he was in?
School of Rock.
Jumanji.
School of Rock.
No. See, by the time he did School of Rock, he'd already been playing that character for 10 years. I mean, I'm sick of his whole, like, I'm a rocker. It's like, no, please stop. Please go away, Jack Black.
I am pro Jack Black.
Phases to it. Like, initially, he was like a rock and roll guy in sort of the edgelord kind of end. Now he just seems like a dad who's really happy to be doing what he's doing.
He was really good in Goosebumps as well.
Oh, yeah. Good shout. Yeah.
But anytime he played, and the thing about it is, what's giving me concern here is, you said it's a party planet, which means he's going to be doing his Jack Black character, and I'm like, oh, like
no, he's just kind of happy.
No,
like you know, he's not playing the guitar or anything. You know.
Okay. I'm gonna give this one a strong pass on this one.
I don't know, man. In a world of like a lot of things being a lot of grays and browns, I'll take a shigagagagwe.
Oh God, see. No, I threw up a little bit in my mouth there. No, but look, if people like Lizzo, okay. If people like Jack Black, okay. If people like Star Wars, okay. I mean,
actually, just to move away from that particular to Star Wars, the ending of the second Bad Batch season is really good, and it made us cry.
Okay, because I've been kind of disappointed with season 3 of The Mandalorian. I'll be honest with you.
How far did you get?
I didn't watch last week, and I won't be watching this week. I'll watch it next week when it's good again. But I think it's been when it's been good, it's been great. Like I really like the stuff with the reformed Camino cloner. That was really good. And I thought that like I'd watch a show based in Coruscant. I thought that was quite fun.
It's called Andor.
No. With stakes, Cian. Andor dies on a planet. We know what happens to him. There's no stakes to it. I do concede your point. I do appreciate it, but I'm also like, no, they should have made that with anyone else who's still alive. You know, it's silly. No one cared about Andor, like the person, the man. Well, sorry. When you were watching Rogue One, were you like, oh, that Andor guy? Look at him there. He's my guy.
Well, that's what extended media does. You take something that no one would care about normally, and
but he's already dead.
Like you know,
he's already dead.
Yeah, but like Darth Vader died before the prequels started. Who cares?
No, there is a difference. You can't compare Andor. Kev, please help me here.
I'm stepping
you're not sitting on the fence.
It's a pretty comfy fence here because
all right, I'll tell you what. I've got an activity to take us out of this. Okay,
go on.
So Marvel Phase 4 is over, and very comfortably so. We're into the next whatever. So I've been going through some of the stuff, and what?
I just love it. I was like, yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Is he wrong?
No, he's spot on. He's spot on. I
say that as a fan.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. That sums it all up. Like,
but like, okay, because I quite liked the bit you did back in January, which was just like 30-second summaries of things that are about to come out. So, so what I thought I'd do is I would just call out the names of things in Phase 4 and see if you remembered anything about it. And that goes to Kev.
Oh, this is fun. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I suggest.
How much time do we have left, by the way, Kev?
Oh, like 15 minutes.
Okay, we've got time.
Okay. I suggest we do this. I suggest we do this there, right? We do it like one Kev, one me, and then that's how we do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, go.
And
go.
I forget continuity. I'm just going to do the films first.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the TV shows, because otherwise we might end up getting stuck on like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and not talk about Spider-Man.
So hold on. So the rules are you're going to name a property and Kev and myself have to say something about it.
Yeah. Just tell me as many things you remember as you at least 3. We'll say.
Okay. Oh God, this is fun. All right, go on.
Okay. Play at home.
Yell at your car radio.
Okay. All right. So first up, Black Widow. Kev, what do you remember?
Actually, no.
It's a telling silence.
No, the face is even better.
I feel like that wasn't even this face. Anyway, no. David Harbour's Captain Russia stick was actually genuinely very fun.
Yeah.
I also like it might just be her. I do like Flo Pugh. And her chemistry with Scardo was actually really fun.
Yeah.
It was a Harvey Weinstein allegory.
Yes, that was it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's your three things.
That's
I'm
three,
putting you
okay.
off there.
Okay.
So, Dara,
Yes.
three things about
Yes.
Black Widow that he hasn't said already.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to a different one.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, no, that's a better system. Okay.
Okay, right.
Tell me three things you remember about Shang-Chi.
Oh, it was surprisingly decent. It had a dragon. The martial arts was unreal, and Wong appearance.
Yes. Okay, that's
Oh,
three.
yeah, Dara,
Great. That's
easy
number
one.
one. Okay.
Yeah, it's the best movie in the whole series.
I'm going to switch up the order because I know that probably Dara wants to talk about Eternals. So
I just like to put just one wedge in and say Simu Liu looks absolutely great in the Barbie trailer, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Continue.
We really need a full episode to talk about that. Okay. Kev, tell me what you remember about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, Spider-Man. I mean, it was the crossover event with Tobey Maguire and the other one.
Andrew Garfield. How dare you, sir?
That's it. Willem Dafoe is the best Marvel villain in decades.
Yes.
Because he's just
Correct.
playing one from decades ago.
Correct.
Is that three? No, it's by my count, that's two.
That's two.
Make it count.
They still have not quite figured out what they're doing with Doctor Strange.
Fine.
That's fair.
Excellent. Okay. Dara, Eternals, go.
Oh, it had Babylonian in it. It had a really good cast, and I loved it. I thought it was great, and had an appearance of an actual museum in London, not like the fake museum.
I kind of set myself up for that one. All right.
Set myself up for that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you wouldn't have gotten that if you the Eternals to me.
That's true.
Right. That's three. Okay. Kev, appropriately, Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. Go.
Ooh, I have a softer touch on this one than a lot of people do, but I understand criticisms. I liked Sam Raimi's Evil Dead kind of effects looks in this. I thought that was fun. They did Wanda really dirty.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially post WandaVision, and they still don't know what they're doing with Doctor Strange.
Fine. Excellent. With incredible reluctance, Dara, Thor, Love and Thunder. Only three things.
I thought it was really sweet. I saw it 4 times, and I really appreciate Russell Crowe being Zeus. It was great.
Okay, all right, excellent, very succinct. I agree with all that.
I remember Dara having a very affectionate hand on that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I get why people hate it,
okay.
but come on, it's wonderful.
Right. Okay, Kev, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Go.
Oh, beautiful story about loss and heritage from there on. Angela Bassett giving an actually award-winning performance. And even though it definitely had its kind of wedged-in moments like Ironheart, I still think the Namor plot kind of wrapped itself in pretty well.
Okay.
So
All
very
right,
much,
excellent.
so very much like the way that would have been a different. Eternals would have been different if Kat had got it. That would have been different if I had got it.
Yeah.
Very different.
Okay, but that's not the game.
Yeah, I know
Right,
it's not. But I'm just saying.
I'm
Go
going
on.
to throw you Ant-Man 3. Go, Dara.
Oh no. Oh no. Disappointing. But okay. Kang was good, but now the actor's very problematic because of all the stuff that came out. So tinged.
Oh, yeah.
Tinged is the word.
Okay. All right. We'll count that as 3. Kev, we're into the TV shows now. How much time do we have?
Enough.
Enough. WandaVision. Kev, go.
Very fun effects, changing the sequence of the sitcom type from episode to episode.
Right.
A middle finger to the fans in terms of the Flash and a penis joke.
Oh.
Not
Right.
Flash, Quicksilver.
Yep. Go on, one more. You can do it.
What else to say about it? Kat Dennings was there.
Yes. Perfect.
That
All
works.
right. Dara, Falcon
Yeah.
Winter
Not
Soldier.
wrong.
Go.
Okay. Hated a lot of it. Really, really like US Agent and the Thunderbolt setup. Worst Captain America ever.
Okay. Time. Kev, Loki. Go.
A lot of fun. Richard E. Grant was a blast in what parts that he was there for.
You're giving him all the ones that to be positive for. I feel like I'm going to be negative. Sorry, go on. I feel like I'm set up here.
and again, although the actor has some icky stuff connected to him, the introduction of Kang was very interesting in the kind of the time loop. Also, minor fourth thing. It feels like it's been years and we have not actually got a payoff to that yet.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the second season.
We might have to round that out at the end. The whole multiverse thing not actually kind of amounting to anything yet.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, actually, appropriately, Dara, what if? Go.
Oh, way better than I thought it was. I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed a lot of it. It was cool to see them actually really go for things like Marvel Zombies, the alternative Avengers, and yeah, it was just a really fun overall fun watch with a very low stakes show, but way more enjoyable than I was expecting. So a nice surprise.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. Excellent. Kev, Hawkeye, go.
Oh God. The last episode was a Die Hard pastiche.
Yeah.
He had a hearing aid.
Right.
The musical, Kev. The musical.
I fully forgot about the musical.
Oh my God, that's the best part.
The actress, I can't remember her name, but the other Hawkeye actress, Kate Bishop, was actually fun.
Fair.
Yeah, and is a better Hawkeye than Jeremy Renner.
Hawkeye is actually my favorite Disney Plus series. I could talk about that all day, but we'll save that. Dara, again, some reluctance. Moon Knight.
Oh my God. So they robbed us of the British Museum. Again, that's just awful. I really enjoyed a lot of this. I thought it kind of sums up a lot of problems with Marvel Phase 4. It promises way more than it delivers. And finally, the last thing is, if they had more shows like this with a payoff, I think that's the format for Marvel TV.
Okay. All right. That's very well said. Okay. So, Kev, Miss Marvel.
Surprisingly good, I think was my kind of takeaway on that. A very genuine feeling kind of teen superhero story, which is something we have a lot of in Marvel, which is kind of surprising. Yeah. A very, very good scene in the latter third of it, depicting the partition of India and Pakistan.
Yeah,
that I remember actually being like a standalone. This is a very good moment of television. And an ending that leaves me, if not excited, intrigued by the Marvels.
Okay, all right, excellent. And rounding out the TV shows before the specials, Dara, She-Hulk.
Oh, avoid that like the plague. Worst thing ever.
Gotta say three things.
The twerking made me sick in my mouth.
Three things.
I did. I said worst thing ever. The twerking made me sick in my mouth and avoid it.
I will generously say that's three things. Okay. We also have two television specials. Kev, Werewolf by Night. Do you see it?
The most creative thing Marvel has done.
Agreed.
Since that studio was founded.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A mark that they really should be leaning more into on the side, kind of 18s plus stuff with creative visual directors. The black and white was stunning.
So
and the physical creature designs were excellent.
Yeah, and it was Michael Giacchino who's usually like a music composer directing it, I completely agree with all that. Finally, rounding us out, unless I've missed something, and to be honest, if I have, it's more Marvel's fault than anything. Dara, you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, it has the benefit of being a holiday special, so you're kind of watching it not really expecting much.
Yeah,
and I didn't. I mean, it was fine. It was good. Three things about it. One, I think it's Marvel's first holiday special. So if going forward, they do this more often, totally cool with me. Two, it didn't impact or ruin any of the continuity around it. And three, it's a good little bridge for more Guardians. Yeah,
and also I should throw in, just for anyone who might observe, there were also 5 little Groot shorts.
Yes. I didn't know if they were. I didn't know if you were including those or not. But
I'll be honest. I'm just reading the list off Wikipedia, even though I have seen everything, and I just caught that near the tail end of it.
Yeah, they were fun. They were fun.
Yeah, and there was yeah, that's pretty much, apart from the likes of like Assembled and like little legends and that kind of stuff. That's pretty much everything. So, Kev, having gone through that entire list, has that changed your outlook on the last couple of years of Marvel?
Not really, because it kind of just emphasized the feeling I've had since Endgame, in that it seems like they're scrambling to try and make a new base work.
Right.
Yeah.
To mixed results. And like Dara said it, you know, at this point, it's just comics. You just pick one, you read it, and that's it.
Yep.
Like it feels less like everything's building to this one thing, and more just here's a scatter shot of different ideas. Some of them will come back. You'll find out later.
Literally, yeah, that's what it is. I think that's the best way to see it. It's like comics. You know, you go into a comic book shop and you pick up the ones you want, and then you drop out and you come back in, and that's kind of it. You know, I mean, like I'm literally sitting here after training wearing a Thor 4 t-shirt.
Oh,
Genuinely.
sweet. Oh, the posters for Thor 4 were gorgeous.
I really enjoyed that movie. However, it established nothing. It finished nothing. It just
gave
kind of
Thor a kid.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, it didn't change the status quo.
Yeah, no, I agree with Tara. Like, Thor now just has a kid hanging around.
Yeah.
But that doesn't affect the grand scheme of the universe.
No, I suppose. I think I've said this before. I'm glad they didn't go straight into like a Thanos after Thanos. I'm glad they kind of cooled things down a bit. But we kind of touched on it earlier. The multiverse thing hasn't all culminated. You could abstractly say it's all culminated in Kang. But you wouldn't have missed anything by not watching the Loki show or What If or anything. Example,
I just want to finish that point real quick.
Yeah, go on.
Kev said it. He said basically it feels like the wheels have been spinning, and after Endgame, there's just kind of been nothing. I do agree, by cooling it down made a lot of sense, but basically they established the multiverse, did actually very little with it, and then when they did do something with it, it wasn't enough. Like Kev, again, you said this around the time, the best multiverse of madness movie wasn't the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
It's whenever, like, obviously that's the hotness in Hollywood right now. But when Marvel, who kind of introduced the concept at this point, did something about it, it was that, you know, we have like Loki, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Verse all kind of introduce it. The three of them do three very different things with this concept, and all of them. Obviously, we're waiting on a season 2 for Loki.
Yeah.
All of them kind of done nothing with it.
That's it.
It more confuses the idea. Where it felt like, you know, I watched when we finished Spider-Man, it felt like, oh, like this universe has torn. There is a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Doctor Strange should tie that back. But no, it does. It tells a fully different story.
Yeah.
So I understand production pipelines.
That's true.
But, like it makes for a confusing watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look, obviously there's an overarching story, but it's just the way it's been doled out. Like, I know everything prior to Endgame, except for Captain Marvel in a lot of ways, and, you know, maybe the way Black Panther was paced or put in, everything kind of made sense. It was kind of building up, and even those two outliers, they did still fit in, right? Where you watch them and they still fit in, even though I would have placed them slightly differently. Watching everything in Phase 4, nothing makes sense. Like, there's no, if you were to say to me, right, or someone who didn't watch it, what order should I watch it in? I genuinely couldn't tell you.
That's fair.
You know, I mean, none of it really matters.
Well, that's why, like, if we were talking about Phase 3, I wouldn't need Wikipedia in front of me.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I like that they're bringing in a few new faces, like the likes of Shang-Chi and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it almost feels like they still haven't hit their
rhythm.
Their status quo yet.
Oh, okay.
It's like they're trying to get to a point where it's like, right, now we have our core team.
Yes,
and they don't have a core team yet. Well, I know they say they do, but they really don't, because it hasn't been shown or established. You know,
no, they seem to be building up the Young Avengers, because now we have all of them pretty much spread out across the universe. But like, it's there isn't like a check out Guardians 3 to find out what's going to happen to them.
There's also sorry to it's just kind of coming to me there. It's that by this point, like, if they're kind of like starting from zero, which they kind of have to in a sense, we're so far gone into this point that by this point we had the Avengers, like the original,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Some kind of tie together.
Yeah,
like we are so far gone by that point that we nothing is tied together.
Yeah. It's like they spend so much time doing world building and introducing characters, which I mean, look, totally fair. But they should have said that. They should have been like, look, we're actually just going to take this back, establish characters, and build out these franchises, and then tie them together, rather than the expectation, which I mean is a legitimate expectation that people have, is that this is all going to tie together for an event movie. We haven't got that. The closest thing we got was Spider-Man, and I think, you know, by this point now, it also doesn't see like, all right, how's Kang actually going to play into this? Taking it outside the real world thing, because I mean, they can just recast him. It is what it is.
Yeah, Kang is a fairly fluid character.
Yeah, I mean, they can just, why does he look different? He's, you know, they're all variants. It's fine.
Not the first time they've just replaced the guy. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just happens. They've done it twice already.
Yeah.
But isn't it such a shame that like the first actor they've gone
three times? Sorry,
happens,
they did it three times already, and they didn't even mention it.
I know, but like, let's say you had to recast Iron Man, you wouldn't have to adjust the Infinity War plan.
Yeah.
To make it, do you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Well, yeah, they don't necessarily. Well, I mean, yeah, they kind of have to. I mean, Iron Man is super important, but
no, but if you change the actor, it wouldn't change the nature of the story. You know?
Well, I mean, if they change the actor for Kang now, it's going to be a bit. They will probably make a joke about it. Oh, your variant looks different, and then there you go. I mean, that's how you get around it. But the Avengers still haven't met Kang yet. The only one who's actually met him is Loki.
Well, Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, sorry, Ant-Man. But I mean, he met a variant. He didn't meet the one who was left behind. You know, so look, going forward, I think it will be interesting. And I don't know how much time we have left, but I do want to mention it real quick. Oh, we're at time. Okay, we're gonna go over anyway because I need to.
We're already over.
Oh, we're already over. Okay, cool. I'm gonna finish this. So it's funny because we were talking about the Avengers, right? And how Phase 4 didn't feel it. News came out and it goes, I don't know if you've even played this game yet. But do you remember the Avengers game that came out?
The online one,
yeah, the really bad one, and I, went on a bit of a rant.
Yeah.
So they released the definitive edition for free for anybody who actually has it. So if you have it on PS4, I have it on the PS5, or if you have it on PC, you can, when you log in, they upgrade you automatically to the definitive edition. But it's closing down in September, so hurry up, go and get it and play it. And it's funny, right? So the game itself was kind of lame. The campaign was probably the worst thing ever. But they released a Wakanda campaign, and that was actually really good. So I mean, the game itself has a bit more of a life now than it did, but all the customization stuff, all the stuff you would grind for is all free now, and then you can play it online as well. So I am saying for the next 5 months for the game's life, go and play it. I think they finally released a game that isn't terrible. Now, it's not great, I'll be honest with you, but I actually really enjoy it. And you can play as Spider-Man and Thor and Iron Man and all the rest of the lads.
Okay. Yeah, we are well out of time.
We are.
So that's going to be
hold on, but this is why you go over to Nerd to Know Media. This is why you go over to Nerd to Know Media, where you get the full show, and also sometimes the show that I you get the full show unedited, so I don't cut out myself when I've gone too far on the radio.
You edit yourself?
I have to, yeah. So we don't get kicked off the radio.
I assumed you'd take out literally anything else.
No. I have
the power of a god as editor.
I know. Sometimes I'm listening back. I'm like, oh no, my joke went too far, so I have to edit that out.
Yeah, head on over to our feeds and Spotify, and you get to hear me say maybe a bad word every once in a while.
Yep.
Whoa, that's some quality content there.
Quality content.
We haven't done it in a while as well, but if you go back through the feed, we had some Nerd to Know After Darks where the episodes ran long and they were good fun. I think we did a deep dive into Batman's romantic proclivities at the time.
Oh, what a fun show that was! Oh my god,
heroes don't do that.
Heroes don't do that. You can check what heroes do is check out nerdtoknowmedia.com with all of our other shows on the network. And do you guys have anything else to plug?
Yeah, look, WWE was sold this week. Holy hell. I called that, folks. I've been calling it for over a year. So I did 6 hours of podcasting this week. So please go over and check out those shows. And we also have a Patreon and social media. And we really appreciate everyone checking it out. Also, spread word to the show because, I mean, at cons, we always get to meet new people. So, we want to see more of you.
Excellent. All right. With that said, and thank you very much for sticking with our very strange Marvel deep dive / film review / Star Wars and Doctor Who casting mild praise and outrage. I will say that I've been Cian.
I've been there.
I've been Kev.
And I can never find the stop recording button. Bye.
Bye.
This is worth it. We do work at night. She says I'm not romantic. I say she's so dramatic.
Alright, so you're listening to the podcast, you're like, hey, I'm not in Ireland, how do I get in touch? Well, TuneIn has you covered. That's how you can check us out live when we're on the radio. You go to TuneIn and download the app, or you can check out the live streams on nerdtoknowmedia.com or Phoenix 92.5 FM. If you want to get in contact with us, it's very easy. Nerd to Know Media everywhere. Nerd to Know Media on Twitter, Nerd to Know Media Instagram, Nerd to Know Media on Twitch, Nerd to Know Media at gmail.com if you want to reach out via email. Hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.